What's going on, guys and gals? Chris, the Bonafide Hustler, coming to you live from the inside of my office. And in today's show, it's an open Q&A. And we're going to be talking about what sells best on eBay and also how you can make money on eBay. Anyways, I'm the Bonafide Hustler, and on a part-time basis, I resell things that I find from garage sales, estate sales, flea markets, pawn shops, swap meets, big box stores, and thrift stores. And I put it on places like eBay, Amazon, Craigslist, my antique booth, and other consignment avenues in town. Anyways, I'm one of the co-owners of the greenroomuniversity.com. Go check it out. It's the second link down below. It's a place where amazing thrifters congregate to discuss all the cool finds, tactics, whatever. And if you're definitely down the road, reselling, making money on eBay, making money on Amazon, or just trying to make more money in a sense where there's no boss or any kind of dedicated hours to run, then reselling is definitely an awesome thing. And if you're new to this channel, you should definitely check out the Green Room. Second link down below. It's pretty cool. But regardless, make sure you're subscribed. And let's get to the Q&A here in 1 second. So usually during the week, about midday, I'll run a live show. And today, as much as I wanted to show some of the cool finds I found today, I wanted to make sure to leave a little bit of time for some Q&A. So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to do a Q&A show, how to make money on eBay and what sells best on eBay. So anyways, let me kind of fill you guys in on a couple things that I am working on this year, right? And the big thing is obviously called the Road to 200. Now, Road to 200 is a concept that I came up with, and alongside College Picker, basically, we decided, in order to make eBay kind of like a fun and worth it for us, kind of in a time sense, business, why not, instead of trying to, push out 300, items or 400 or 1,000 items in our store, why not really try to maximize the profit potential on each item and have less items in the store? So that's really important. So we decided, that's really the way we're wanting to go. That's the most fun way to do it. And I really don't want to go any more than 16 hours a week on this project. So think about it, 16 hours a week, on this new Road to 200 project, which I've been doing for the past month and a half, 2 months now, actually. And on this project, the essence behind it is every single item that I sell, I want, okay? And not saying that I do, but I want to attain 50 bucks or more on a pure profit sense, okay? So once the item sells and the shipping's out of the way and the buy cost is out of the way, and the eBay fee and the prescribed PayPal fee is out of the way, I want to be making as close to 50 bucks or more if possible on these items that I am reselling. And currently, right now, I'm in the process of kind of purging out some of these crappy items that I have in my store. And I think we all have crappy items in our store. But what you tend to do, what you do with it, instead of just relisting it over and over and over and over again, what you do with it on an active sense really dictates, I think, your progression in the game. So, it's really important not to pick up junk, and it's really important to maybe stay away from some of these $5 profits or $10 profits that are all over the place. As you become an intermediate reseller or even a beginner reseller, it's really, really easy to find $5 and $10 profits on items. Super easy, okay? But the key is to really train your mind to find higher profit items, okay? So that way you're not doing as much work. And if you have a worker, that's fine, I get it. But like if you don't have a worker, which is most of us, okay? And even if you do have a worker, wouldn't it be nice if your worker helped you, package up or list really amazing items? I mean, think about it. Instead of some of these $5 or $10 things or $15 profits on items, why not go for the big stuff, right? Why not go for like maybe that $50 mark or the $40 mark? You can challenge yourself to learn more, all right, and to source more efficiently. So the title of this video is like how to make money on eBay. And clearly, eBay is a place where you can resell used goods, and that's primarily where us resellers come into play. Now, of course, some of us resellers do the wholesale route, and they get bulk buys and things like that have new items in them, and they just basically resell them. But for a majority of us that are out here and probably tuning into this channel, we're probably going to thrift stores, we're probably going to garage sales, and maybe making open ads on Facebook and going to people's places and finding cool stuff. But either way, you're probably reselling a lot of used stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Used items, if bought extremely low, can command amazing prices on eBay if you know what you're buying and if there's a dedicated market to what you're buying. So anyways, that's the Road to 200 concept. And currently, as of I think today, I'm at 152 items in my store, something like that. At some point, I think last week I was at like 168 or 166, and then just one weekend came by and kind of brought me down considerably. It kind of pissed me off, actually, but that's the goal of the whole thing, is to put steady work into eBay, not much, right? as little as possible to get out the biggest result. And for me, I think the biggest result and where I think I've made it with 16 hours a week is when I can look back and crank out $3,000 to $5,000 a month. That's kind of my goal. So I'll work on that the entire 2018 just on eBay. And I think it's going to be a really fun thing to do. So if you're interested in learning how I'm going to do it, or if you're interested in how to learn the art of reselling and finding better items, subscribe to this channel. Okay, so I'm going to go into the comments right now because I think by this time, that's the reason why I talked and I talked. That's the reason why I was talking and why I ranted a little bit is because I got to give enough time for people to come into the chat and ask some questions live. So if you're lucky enough to find me live, there should be a little live button on the video and you can ask me questions in the feed. I can't get to all of them, but I'm going to get to some of them, okay? So anyways, let me also give a shout out to 4 people. Last weekend when I was at Garage Sales, I got to meet Matt from Austin. That was amazing. A day later, I got to meet Miles at a Savers. That was pretty cool. He's also he's a big shoe hustler, and he's also in killer shoe brands, I want to say. So what's up to Miles? Yesterday, I got to meet Mike at a thrift store. So shout out to Mike if you're watching this video. Today, while I was at a Savers, I got to meet Tracy. So shout out to Tracy, who I met today. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube, if they're pushing my channel out or something, but getting spotted 4 times in like 4 days is kind of nuts, you know, but hey, I'll take it. Okay, so anyways, let me go into the feed here. And if you have a question, you know, go ahead and ask it. Clearance Ninja, where's the 4K camera? That vid you did in 4K was super clean. You know, the thing is, I have a 4K camera, right? The GoPros that I have, they film in 4K, but most of the stuff that I do film is filmed with a G7X Canon, which is a very small point and shoot camera. It's what all the vloggers use out there. So there's a G7X and then there's this G7X Mark II model, which has a better sensor and has time-lapse capability. But I have G7X, basically the first model, which is really, really good. And still to this day, it commands prices of around $460 to $500 on Amazon. So if you're lucky enough and you go into the pawn shops like me, you'll probably find one for somewhere between $200 and $300. And maybe if you're lucky on Craigslist, you can find one between $200 and $300 as well. A G7X camera is amazing. So if there's like one camera you should ever have in your life and you're contemplating on maybe taking eBay pictures and starting a YouTube channel, all this stuff, I would say there's only really one to go with. Because this G7X you can put in your pocket. It's portable. You won't get kicked out of stores for filming yourself. And you can take awesome eBay pictures with it as well. So that's the one I highly recommend. And I'm not sponsored by Canon. Yeah, so that's a really good camera. This is amazing. Like almost all the resellers that I know that are big YouTubers, they all have the same camera. It's the Canon G7X. Okay, so let's talk about this next question that's coming in. Okay, so from Beth Sherman. Sorry if you already said this. Do you bulk buy or do retail arbitrage? I do retail arbitrage. I do have an Amazon business on the side, which, you know, if items that are qualified for Amazon and new or used pop up and it makes sense to me on a risk perspective, I'll get into them and I'll make a shipment usually about every week or 2 weeks. So I do retail arbitrage. Do I do bulk buying? No, not yet. I mean, not yet, and maybe I will, but it requires a little bit more space when you do bulk buys. Of course, you can do the OA route, but still, it's really key to kind of like be able to see the items before you ship them off to Amazon or wherever. But when you do bulk kind of stuff, I mean, it's typically, now you're talking pallets and plastic wrap, and you're gonna have to have some room for that. And I have room in my garage, but I also have another business that I'm working on right now with a fitness channel. So that is half of my garage right there, and the other half is just bikes and really cool stuff. But one half of my garage is a gym, like a studio gym. You know, it looks really cool on camera. So if I was to do this bulk buying kind of stuff, I know it's a viable way to make good money, but I'd have to find places for that inventory. And I don't know if I'm quite into that right now. If that kind of stimulates me to do that right now. What stimulates me is other things, like reselling stimulates me in a much more, I don't know, for me, it's a fun way, like garage sailing and thrift stores. That to me is really fun. I like it. But if I have like a bunch of one item staring at me in the face, I don't know. I'd be thinking, well, it's the same item and it's the same thing, the same process. Like for me, there's just not much stimulation, and I need stimulation to be happy. So, and the other thing that I'm really passionate about is clearly fitness. So go check out my other channel on YouTube. It's called Bod Damn. You should go check it out, BODDAMN, and there's also a Bod Damn Facebook. That's all fitness oriented. That's the number one thing I care about in the entire world is fitness, honestly. So anyways, Joe Molina, are you selling all used electronics to FBA that qualify? Yeah, for the most part. Here's a perfect example of one right here that I picked up yesterday. This is a $5 Sony, clock radio. It's a ICF CD 815. This one right here, decent rank, and it will cut me a $38 check once it sells. And the last one that I had that I sent in sold within 2 weeks. So here's another one right here. I probably have another one somewhere in this house, so I'm gonna probably ship in two. But this is a pretty good one. It's nothing crazy. It's just an AM/FM clock radio with dual alarm. Pull top right here. It's a CD player. I mean, I tested it in the store and it looks awesome. So there's a perfect example of something that'll probably turn within 2 weeks that I'm sending in, that it only cost me $5 and will yield me about 38. So thus being $33 in pure profit. So that's pretty good. I like that. Yeah, so do I sell all used electronics to FBA that qualify? Yes, but that qualify my risk. That's the most important thing, because I'm not going to send in some million rank electronic or something like that. That said, I did send in a 158K toy right before I went to Colorado, and like right before I left, like days before I left, and while I was in Colorado, they all sold. So that was pretty interesting. I only sent 5 off, but they were brand new. They were Nerf guns, and I was into them each for $10, and I sold every single one of them for 80. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, and I have more here at the house, but the condition of the box isn't optimal, right? And I'm not cleared to sell them in used condition. So you can kind of put 2 and 2 together. If the box is not optimal, you can't put it as new. But then if you try to put it as used, I can't sell them in used for some reason. So they're sitting here, and they'll be they're on eBay right now. The last 4 that I have are on eBay. So we'll see. I mean, this trickle sales at this point, because I've already made all my money back and then some. So that's good. Okay, what else we got? More questions that are coming in. Thrift shop gamers. I think this is going to be a good question. I don't know. I read one sentence of the whole thing, and it's probably pretty decent. Does recording your videos help you progress in your goals? Recording videos or being a content creator is essential in people finding out who you are. So that way, one day when you have a business venture or something, you've built so much trust with them that they naturally kind of want to join on your direction with you. So it's an inspiring way to connect with other people. 5 years ago, when I was at the thrift store today, this lady came up to me. Her name was Tracy, total sweetheart. And we got to talking about all kinds of stuff and passion about how she loves thrifting. She started, I think, a year ago, maybe something like that. And she's just like, this is where I have fun. Like, I like this, and you can get paid for it. And then I was telling her that, she had expressed how she wanted to start a YouTube channel, but she's not ready. And I told her, there's never a good time to be ready. I guess the same argument could be placed when you have kids. Like, maybe, for the people that wait forever to have kids, like maybe the time is never right. You just have to have the kid. But the same thing with the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel, there's never a right time, but there is 100% fact about if you're a content creator, you should never just issue out the final product. You should always take people around the journey with you. So in retrospect, 5 years ago, I had my wife hold a camera, which was a Canon. Oh no, it was a Kodak ZX5, which I did sell for more money actually. But yeah, she held that camera, and I told her, film me. It's kind of stupid. I feel awkward, but film me. And 5 years later, and about 800 videos on YouTube, here I am. And I've met amazing people throughout the journey, other resellers across the country. I've got to meet Steve Rakin. I got to meet Eric Spears, College Picker, Rakin Profit, formed a business with them, and got to host, this will be our 5th installment of a Green Room meetup here in Austin, Texas. So my point being is, there's never a right time to start anything. You just have to go with it and just kind of see what happens, right? And you learn throughout that whether it was worth your time or not. But the worst thing to do is to just come straight out and have you, like, right in people's faces. Then they're always going to be wondering, who the hell is this guy? Like, what's the story? Like, there's no story. Then, yeah, they're going to want to bond with someone that has the story a little bit more. So Thrift Shop Gamer's second question, I don't have much content so far, but it helps me give motivation to do better so I can talk about it and document it. Yeah, you have to document. It's the most important thing. Gary Vaynerchuk, every year, you'll always hear him say this one statement: document, don't create. Document, don't create. Document your journey. Don't just create something and just show up on the map. So it's really important that you take people on the journey with you through your failures, through your successes, through your questions, through your curiosity, being inquisitive, all that kind of stuff. That has to be put on air. And it's another game when you're live, honestly. Like, live is a whole different ball game, because if you mess up, like, it's done. Like, so you have to be really, really careful. But when you are, in front of a camera and you have to edit it later, you can take out all the stupid stuff. But the live stuff's a little bit tougher. So, but either way, it's really important to get it, to just do it. Like, my first live show was done like 3-4 years ago. I felt like a total weirdo, but now there's probably 300 on my channel, and you get this, and people always say, like, you just look so comfortable in front of the camera. Well, that comes through practice, right? No one's ever an amazing car driver on day one of setting your foot into a car, right? So you have to practice. So a lot of remarks and stuff. Give me some questions, guys. Let's get some questions going on here, and let's see if I can answer some of them for you. If I can't answer them for you, I'm not going to pretend like I can. And if I don't do some of the things that you are asking about, then I will tell you I don't do those things. Okay. Thriller Gorilla Picker, probably one of my #1 subscribers on this channel. What is up, dude? Chris, I have a whole bunch of Nerf guns to sell. Is it better to sell them in the summertime? And is cosplay a good keyword? All right, so first of all, don't wait for anything. Like, if you have a pile of Nerf guns, put that stuff on Craigslist, local markets, Facebook Marketplace, offer up, let go, all that kind of stuff locally. Like, but take out certain ones. Like, take out probably the Vulcan EDF 25 or whatever it's called, the Vulcan gun. Take that one out as long as it has the ammo belt, the tripod ammo belt. And if you have the ammo box, that's like the complete thing. I don't think it came with a shield. So yeah. So anyway, so that one right there, I think it's 4 pieces to be complete. Make sure you test it out. I think it's like 5D batteries. That's a really good gun to put on eBay. If you put it on eBay and you take incredible pictures, you could probably sell between $70 and $100. I'm not even kidding. My last EDF complete Vulcan sold locally. I put it on eBay and I put it locally. So I put it for like 70 or 80 bucks. I put it locally for 50 and someone bought it for 50. So you can cross list things too. Don't just think like, I can only make money on eBay. It's not true. If you're going to write out the description on eBay and some cool keywords and whatever, and you may as well just drag it over to Craigslist as well. It takes literally like 20 or 30 seconds. And now you have a completely different marketplace looking at the item. So just something to consider. The other gun to pull out, I want to say, is the CS6 Sniper. I think that's what it's called. CS6 long strike or long shot sniper gun. If you have the sniper barrel on it, the correct magazine, and the scope, and the buttstock, I think, yeah, I think that's the gun I'm thinking about. But anyways, there's one called the long strike or long shot. That one you would want to pull out as well. If you see either of those 2 guns in the pile, and they're semi-complete, or no, if they are complete, it'd be worth pulling those out of the pile. Everything else, yeah, put it right now, because people are constantly spray painting these things and sandblasting them and getting to look cosplay-ish, and then putting them on like Etsy and random places to sell cosplay-ish guns that are basically Nerf guns that are painted. But don't wait. Yeah, when I get a pile of Nerf guns, which I don't really touch Nerf guns unless I come across a garage sale that has an incredible deal. 20 bucks, you take all the Nerf guns, cool. Then I'm basically going to take that same lot, put on Craigslist like a week later for like 80 bucks, But I stay away from certain, there's some really crappy Nerf guns out there too. Yeah, there's some really bad ones. So I'm not saying that they're all good. The ones that look more like rifles, less like shotguns, and less the ones with not so much drum action going on, like I like those a little bit better. And I think cosplay people do like those better too, but I could be wrong. Yeah, missing the scope on the sniper. The real sniper gun has a blue and yellow scope. A Mega Mastodon, is that for eBay or local? If you have that thing in the box, it's a really big gun. I think it's one of the biggest ones that they make. I would go local if you have it just loose. If it's on, eBay, the dimensions of the box are probably going to kill you. So yeah, Mega Mastodon, I would just go locally on that. What's up, Alex? Good to see you. Redfern Reliance, will you send high value but high ranking products on Amazon, like rare CD worth 60 or 80, FBA or merchant fulfilled? I don't do anything merchant fulfilled, first of all, on Amazon. For my merchant fulfilled stuff, I'm only eBay. FBA, I use it for what it is. It's fulfillment by Amazon. You are essentially taking, they will take a larger cut of the profit pie, but your item is out of the way immediately. It's housed in a distant warehouse somewhere in America. And when it sells off the Amazon website, then Amazon with their little robot things and whatever, pick it up from whatever rack it's on, goes to a sorting place where they verify it's the actual item. It gets put into a box with some bubble wrap, and then off it goes with Prime, Amazon Prime shipment to whoever bought it. So that's a huge asset, in the sense of diversification. If you're not with Amazon FBA, you're making a huge mistake. You got to be with Amazon FBA, but it's not all the time that I'm shipping out things. Like I know people in the green room ship out a ton of stuff. We have people that are shipping out like almost every day, every other day, full-blown inventory labs, scanners, everything going on, and doing it out of sometimes apartments or houses, not even in warehouses, and it can be done. And that's full-blown RA, right? And then there are people that use FBA, like myself, as a piece of the puzzle where it's not like I'm going full blown that. I'm not going full blown eBay, not going full blown, YouTube videos. And just a little piece of it. Each one is what I want because I want diversification. That's just how I like it. So the question is, would I send in high value but high ranking? I hate high ranking is not good. Like that usually means high chance of it being pulled on a report every 6 months saying, hey, this is going to be and now Amazon does a really good job. I cut myself off, but now Amazon does a really good job that when you scan an item, it'll tell you slow moving ASIN or something like that. It doesn't mean you can't send it in. It just means that it's advising you, like statistically, that this thing is going to take a very long time to sell. There have been plenty of items that I've got into for $10, sold for a lot of money, but it might take 7 months, 8 months. So if you're optimistic and you understand the ranks real well, all it takes is one really dedicated buyer to buy that thing, right? But I try to stay away from really high ranks. Like I don't like them, and it leads to removals later on and stuff like that. I don't like it. So, okay, here we go. JockMe4FRE3. It's definitely one of my good subscribers here. I respect your road to 200, although how do you discipline yourself from passing on items where you can make a quick 10 to 20 profit? It would be hard for me to do so, especially when I do eBay full time. See, here's the thing. When you go for the higher price, so, okay, if you're going for $10 profits, and then all of a sudden you watch one of my videos, for example, or someone else's, and they have a completely different mentality than yours. My mentality is based on, working less and getting paid the same or more. So for every $10 sale that you might make, if I'm chasing a $50 sale, the second I find a $50 sale, you've had to sell 5 times, right? 5 different items to attain once of my item, right? So that's important to consider. And that should be the telltale, that should be the sale right there. That should be me selling you on the fact that, there are $10 and $20 profits everywhere you go, okay? If you become an intermediate reseller, you're gonna find them everywhere. Across America, they exist. I get into $10 and $20. I get into 10 or 20 and below kind of things when it's Amazon FBA, super low rank. There might be a shelf to clear. I'll get into that all day. Outside of that, it's a discipline game, right? It's no different than playing poker, right? The more hands you statistically play in poker, the higher your chances of imploding, right? So if you hold out for some of the better hands, then your chances of actually clearing your opponent out is much higher. So I kind of take the same approach to my hustling game. I'm like, I could resell $10 and $20 items all day. Like I could do it, right? I could have done that 5 years ago, but I noticed 5 years ago I was like, I'm gonna hold myself to $20, right? Pure profit. And then the year after that was like 25, and then the year after that was like 30. And then all of a sudden it went from 30 to like 50. I was like, you know what? I want to work less eBay, but make it fun and make it a challenge. And the challenge being, I want to learn as much as I can. So that way, when I go into a thrift store, I can spot $50 items left and right. And if I don't find one, I go home and I realize that's just part of the game. Is there going to be a couple days where you're like, I didn't find that much. But it's certainly better because if you can make the same amount of money than spending 40 hours a week hustling $10 and $20 items, once you're at 40 hours a week, you have no other time to focus on another avenue that you might want to diversify yourself with. Maybe it's ebook creation or merch or something. And that's the whole premise behind what I do, is that I will not allow myself to go over 16 hours a week. I just won't do it, right? Because I want that other 24 hours to be on my workout channel, working on YouTube videos and like chasing my dreams, And I think we all have dreams, but sometimes we drown in these businesses that we think are thriving and think they're amazing, but they're really just killing your time. And so that's the main reason behind it is, for every $10 or $20 item you might find, I just have to sell one $50 item. And that's just for me, in about a year, I want 50 to be my worst case scenario. I want 100, I want $200 profits to be a little bit more of the norm, right? So that's just what I'm chasing. And I know that I can hold out a couple days because I have a good thrift town, right? And I could find $50 or $100 profit items like all the time. But it's also because I've told myself to learn as much as I could, right? And it's a little biased because I am a founder, I am a admin of a really good resale group. So that has a big piece to play with it, right? Because it's the first thing on my Facebook feed. And when I wake up in the morning, I just get, 10 or 15 green room posts. And half of those posts are every one of those posts is like on point. So there's like no complaining or anything like that. There's some really good questions, but no complaining. And then second of all, they're a bunch of bolos. I mean, they come around every single day. They're bolos every day. And you just, through association, eyesight, registering my brain, I see these things. And then eventually I find these things. And that's just how it works out. So if you can saturate yourself with any group out there that gives you no BS, but everyone in the group's like chasing dreams, right? Then you will find out and you will become more like those people as well. So I don't know how to say it without being biased, without being, trying to tout my room, which is what I really want to do right now, but I'm not going to do it because it's a Q&A. But that's the truth, is like I can't take all of the credit when it comes to my knowledge, because a lot of my knowledge was learned from other YouTube videos, and a lot of it was learned from the green room. I ain't gonna lie to you, like I would love to say that I knew it all, but I don't. And so yeah. And while we're on that subject real quick, you know what? I told you I'm not going to tout my green room, but I will tout one thing because this will help you guys out. So here's 100 amazing items to resell. I always whip out this guide. It's so important. It's a free guide. It's the first link down below. Put it on your phone, PDF right now. You don't have to wait for anything to show up in the mailbox. It'll be on your phone. And you can learn 100 really cool bread and butter items to resell. And that'll definitely help you and start you on your reselling journey, especially if you want to start finding some of these like better things to resell. There are a lot of good things in that guide. So there you go. There's my thing. I'm going to show this comment because it's kind of funny, actually. Okay, Matthew Squire, serious question. Would you ever consider making money from fetish people? I get 20 bucks, or I guess 20 UK bucks per sale for selling my sweaty socks to foot fetish people. They tend to be repeat customers too. I don't know if if I ever did, I probably wouldn't tell anybody, right? I ain't gonna lie, like it probably crossed my mind a couple times, like, hey man, I could just like sell this or sell that, and I won't say what the this or that is, but it's crossed my mind because there's a market, right? As long as the market's not, as long as you're not doing anything super shady, you're not robbing banks, you're not selling coke, some of these markets are there, and you can choose to engage with them, and there's nothing wrong with it morally, right? There's nothing wrong with it. But I don't do it, right? I don't do it just because I'm good at what these other things that I do. But yeah, I mean, I could imagine that the market would be great. I'm decent. I just don't. It's not something I want. It's not something I want to engage in. But so the question was, have I ever considered it? I thought about it way back in the day, but I haven't followed through with any of that. Or maybe I have. You just don't know it. Just kidding. Okay. Maybe not just kidding. Clearance Ninja, this video went weird real fast. No, it's a good eBay question. The title of this video is how to make money on eBay and what sells best. I mean, dude, if you take a look at like used socks, used underwear, both female and men's, I mean, there's a market there, right? You could argue that sells best too. And you can certainly argue the fact that people are making money on that, because we know an average pair of underwear is probably no more than $2. And if some people are selling these things for 50 bucks or 100 bucks, do the math. It's a first class rate, right? Yeah, it's probably somewhat lucrative for some of these people that are doing it. Okay. Brian Carpenter says, my first sale was my used socks for 50 bucks. Cool. And exactly. Rudy Brianna says, more power to the people who do, though. That's right. And that's kind of like the same way that I look at it as well. Clearance Ninja, I don't chase a dream, I live it. LOL. Like, I like that. It's a good statement. You don't have to you don't have to LOL on that. That's a true statement. If everyone actually started to really think about this statement, they would be much more happier, and B, much more inclined to actually do stuff with their lives and, act on things. And the statement was, I don't chase a dream, I live it. If you're always living a dream, then man, you are just, yeah, when you die, you're just like, wow, like I don't have any regrets. And that's the most important thing. Don't ever have regrets. Okay, let me get some. Okay, here's a good question. Redfern Reliance says, how much cash do I usually take when I go to a yard sale run? This is good. This is important because a lot of, there's a lot of places to get inventory. There are a lot of places to get inventory for eBay. But one of the primary ways that I use is to go to garage sales and yard sales. Not so much estate sales, but garage sales and yard sales. If it's super rainy, I might go into an estate sale. But garage sales, right? Yard sales, I think that's pretty much it. Moving sales, it's all the same thing. How much money do I usually go when I go on a yard sale run? Typically, okay, I'm probably out the door with like somewhere between 260, maybe 340, something like that. But if it's in peak season, I'd like to show up with around 5 to 6 something. Like that's just neighborhood-wide garage sales left and right. And you have to understand my knowledge grows every single year. So, but that said, my knowledge grows every single year. But now I have this kind of like stopping point. I'm like, I will not hustle things that are, that won't give me $50 or more, which is kind of cool, which means I was envisioning my spaceship, my SUV piling to the sky and like over. It's kind of like that Beverly Hillbillies thing, and just going off the edges and everything. There's like just so many items, and my headliner's destroyed in my car. And that's the way it would be, right? With if your knowledge goes up, but you have no threshold, that you're always hustling $10 or $20 items, but your knowledge keeps going up, you're going to have an inventory nightmare one day. You're just going to have it. So that's one of the reasons why I want to chase like bigger, better profits, is because with the limited space that I do have, it's not limited. I own a house, but I don't want my house to be all reselling stuff, because then it's like nearly impossible to run a really good relationship out of a house that looks like that. And I value having a female companion. Um, so that's the reason why half of my garage is just my eBay business, right? And everything is all neatly organized on prep shelves and stuff. But I allow half of one wall on my garage, and there are gorilla racks in there and stuff, to just be pre-boxed eBay items. And then there's some stuff here in this room. There are probably 10 items here on the floor that need to be boxed up and go up on that wall. But that's another reason why I chase the road to 200 thing, is because I could go to 1,000. I know I could do it. I could go to 1,000 with $10, $20 items all day long. But the downside would be this: there would have to be more space. And the real downside of the whole thing is I wouldn't get a lick of time to really pursue anything else, because I'm just chasing a big number like 1,000 or whatever. So I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody. You run your eBay business any way that you want. But I really do think if you take a second to scale back, get rid of some of the junk in your store, and focus on learning as much as you can about higher ASP related items, average selling price, I think you'll be happier. And almost every person that I've interacted with, I won't say every, almost every, half of the people that I've interacted with in real life in the past 2 months have all said, "Man, your concept of Road to 200 is freaking awesome. Like, I love you have a really good eye for like much better stuff. You talk about different things than a lot of other people, and you hold yourself to it. That's the most important part, is discipline." They said that's always what I admire about you, is that you're going out there and doing what's right for you. You're chasing your own happiness and making it into a business. So something to think about. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just telling you to consider it, and open up another stream of income with that extra time that you save. Beth Sherman, do I ever dumpster dive? I think I've dumpster dived one time, and I'll dumpster dive for boxes. I won't get in the dumpster, but I'll get boxes when I'm super desperate in a dumpster. But have I ever dumpster divin or dove? Just kidding. When I was going to get boxes one time, I did see some cool stuff at this like Five Below store, like in the back of it. And I think it was like a pair of headphones, and it was like something else and something else. And so I reached in and I grabbed it. So I didn't theoretically dumpster dive, but I was there and the dumpster diving opportunity was present. And so I decided, instead of going for boxes, I was going to reach further and get kind of in sort of the dumpster and grab what I soon found was one of them was it was like scrapbooking material, a really cool booklet that my wife, I think, still uses. And then it was a pair of headphones, which were totally junk. So there you go. Okay, question. This is a good question. Clarence Ninja question: what does it usually cost you to ship a bicycle? All right, so here's the thing about the bike game. And on my guide, Bikes to Bucks, I outline it pretty perfectly. So 95% of the bikes that I sell, I think in that guide it said 95, but 95% of the bikes that I sell, it might even be 99% at this point, are all sold locally. Okay, so if you have something really rare and you have something that you know has an incredible market on eBay, then put it on there. But most of the bikes that you will probably buy and resell are going to be done on a local level. So just so you know, that's 99% of what I sell. Yesterday, I sold a bike. See, I bought it for 20 bucks. I sold it for 140. No, I bought it for 30 bucks. I sold it for 140 within a day. And that bike was like, the guy looked at it for like 2 minutes. He's like, cool, I want it. And so there it is, gone. But that's just an example of the local sales that we do. My brother does it all the time. I do it here and there when the bike is just right. I'll do a local sale, and then hardly ever it goes to somewhere in the nation. It has to be the perfect bike for me to put on eBay. Hey, someone just gave me some Bonafide Doppio beer money right here. Mark Bakayan gave me $5. Grab a beer on me. You got a deal, man. You got a deal. I'll do it. I will do it. Thank you so much, Mark. That is so nice of you. I appreciate that. So cool, man. That's one of the other cool things about YouTube that recently in the past year, these little super chat things, which I don't get a whole lot, but like when I get them, for some reason, it just trumps everything. Like I get paid with Google AdSense, not gonna lie to you. But a super chat for some reason, it's like way, way, way less than Google AdSense, but like it just means so much more. It's like in the moment, and it's like a person literally taking money out of their pocket a little bit and giving it to you for like beer money. We're all adults here. It's okay to drink beer, but it's no different than someone maybe seeing me and like, hey, you're the Bonafide Hustler. Cool. Here's a beer on me, right? That's such a nice gesture. You can get so much done by just going up to someone that you might know or you admire or something like that in real life and just buying them a drink. Like, it's so weird, but it's here in Texas, it's like an old Texas tradition. You see an old friend or whatever, you go up to them, hey man, what you drinking? Like, cool, let me get that for you. And it's just like the conversations that come after that and all that kind of stuff are just amazing. And the relationships you can build over one drink is phenomenal in this world. So Mark, thank you so much again. That is really cool. I really appreciate that. Okay. Question. My son got an IBM projector that will not power on, but I think I can power it out. How would you know if the lens is good and if I can power it up? Look, if you have an IBM projector, there's no sense in like unscrewing things and taking lenses out or like checking a bulb, whatever. Forget that. Just try to sell it as it is. Unless it's some crazy 4K projector or whatever, or some 1080 DOP thing. Just if you can't even power it on, like at this point, it should just be sold as parts or non-working on eBay. And get it out of the way. Don't spend any time on that thing. Focus on the next hustle. That's just what it is. So if I find myself in that kind of a predicament, or it doesn't even sound like it's a predicament. It's like your son found it. Maybe you have to take care of the next part of this whole thing. But I would don't only part out things when you know that the parts are worth money. Okay, so from when I part out something, like I know like that seat on that bike does not need to be there because the buyer ain't gonna care about it. So I swap it with a run of the mill seat, and I take that seat, either put it in my personal collection on my personal bikes, or I'll put it on eBay, for what it's really worth. So only part out things when you know what the parts are technically worth, and if you can judge that the time is worth it to you, because there can be many instances where parting out something smokes up more time than what it would have cost to just sell the thing as is, one time only. Yeah, and plus when you do part things out, you deal with a lot more people involved and a lot more chances of negative feedback, especially if you kind of don't know what the parts mean, model numbers, correct keywords. So you chance that too. So I'd much rather just sell it one and done at obviously a much more reduced rate, and then be done with it. So Thriller Gorilla Picka says, if you find anything Cook Brothers BMX, sell it on eBay. Absolutely. Cook Brothers is like the pinnacle of like BMX parts, it just seems. So I don't want to bore you with what it is or anything, but just look up Cook Brothers BMX eBay, sort by highest used goods, and you're going to start seeing stems and seat posts and BMX handlebars and all kinds of stuff, cranks, like the coolest things ever. Just go check it out. Adam Machine, man, we got another beer Doppio money given fiend here in the house. Thanks for all that you and Steve Ray can do. Changed my life. That's cool, man. So keep watching our videos, and plenty other good creators out there in YouTube land. Rally Roots, like there's just a bunch of, I say Rally Roots because they're just, clearly they're everyone's favorite, and I like to watch them every now and then, but a really good, part of the community and someone that started like a year ago, Rally Root. So shout out to them. But Adam Machine, thanks for the $5, man. The picture of Adam Machine right now shows him driving in a car, which is crazy. So hopefully you're not paying me this beer money while you're driving around and like fidgeting on your phone. I know you're not, but anyways, it's a kind of a funny picture that goes with this $5 donation. Thanks for the super chat. That's super awesome, man. I will definitely get a Doppio and maybe even a beer on behalf of Adam Machine. That is really nice of you. Thanks, man. Really, really appreciate it. Here's another comment from him. Changed my life by selling on eBay and now inspiring to do YouTube and share the knowledge as well. That's right. If you're getting inspired to do YouTube, then do it, okay? Fail, 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 do it, fail, feel awkward, doesn't matter, do it. Because it's gonna get harder to get monetized on YouTube. It's already really hard to get monetized now if you're a new channel. Don't let that discourage you, because YouTube can lead to bigger and badder things that are worth way more than the Google AdSense that the channel will probably ever pay you. So make sure you start, and don't look at it as a money grab kind of thing. Look at it as, I want people to see my journey, share as much as you can. If you got triumphs, share them. You know, people are on the other side of this world, not necessarily even in the USA, that are going to watch these videos, and they're going to be in really weird cash situations, probably strapped and maybe borderline being evicted from somewhere. And your video might help that person get out of a terrible situation. It might put food, it's not even might, it will put food on people's tables. It'll allow a couple to go out to dinner and, you know, maybe grab a steak or something, or some sushi. But that's the power of sometimes one really good flip from a garage sale or yard sale or something like that, or clearing a shelf on a retail arbitrage standpoint. And we are the people that make the videos about it. So it's fun, you know, but just remember, like, do it for the end result of that person that will one day hopefully support you, and one day maybe bump into you and tell you all these amazing things that you did. And it might take years to get that, right? For me, my very first getting spotted in public probably was a year and a half after my channel started. And then from there, it's consistently grown a lot. But in the past 4 days, it's been 4 different people. But that's just an indirect result of being maybe polarizing, inspiring, and consistent, right? Most important part is being consistent. Even if you make mistakes, as long as you're consistent in making mistakes, you own up to your stuff, and you have triumphs, you know, share them. And then if you learn something from someone that's so profound, thank that person, right? Don't just take it as your own information. Thank that person, because all this stuff comes around, man. People watch other people's videos. When people get shout outs, they will watch their name and get shout out. It's just the way it goes here in YouTube land. So just start. Most important thing you can do is start, okay? Don't worry too much about all the other stuff. Just start, okay? Thrifting is not a gimmick, it's a way of life. That's from College Picker. He's my business partner. Yeah, what's up, Eric? Good to see you. I saw his video this morning about anyway, you just watch this video about the $16,000 possible loan payment, but not loan payment. But it's really good. It's really well explained. So anyways, yeah, what's up, Eric? Good to see you. Adam Machine, thanks, man. I'm hustling my ass off and I'm always learning. That's right. If you're always learning, you're good. The second you become stagnant and you're allowing yourself to think about stupid things like bills and how am I going to pay for that or whatever, or I want this one thing, but I don't know how to get it, you know, forget all of that, man. Focus on what's important, which is learning as much as you can, all right? And then taking that learning, acting on it, trying to find this stuff in real life. And when you're at a garage sale or thrift store, executing it to the fullest degree, right? Give your customer a really awesome buying experience, package that thing up really good, you know, be real transparent in your descriptions, take amazing pictures, and you'll get like 0 to no returns, right? And that's the most important thing. There's so many people that are complaining about returns on eBay and all this stuff. And then you can just almost see it in the way that they write a paragraph. You're like, I'm not surprised that you got a return, you know, because the way that you're even approaching just this scenario is very negative, right? And so the people that get returns and are positive about you, like, hey, I got this return, kind of sucks, but I want to share my experience with you so that maybe one of you guys out there doesn't do it, and they own up to a mistake maybe that they did, or something like that. In the green room yesterday, I forgot who it was, but someone got a negative feedback on Amazon saying, oh, the item is great, but the $5.99 sticker on Goodwill, that kind of sucks. You know, next time that you ship something off to Amazon, make sure you take the Goodwill sticker off of it. Okay, so it's a funny moment. And he was wondering if he could if he could get this thing ever removed, and a couple green roomers replied to it. But that's just what comes with the game. He was, you know, he could have, I could just tell by the way he wrote it, he was like, oh man, is there something I could do about this feedback? Because he knew he had messed up. He knew, right? And that's the way you want to approach some of these things. You don't want to approach it like eBay's a scam and all these people on eBay are a scam, or Amazon's such a crappy company and all these fees and all this stuff. And like, look, None of that's going to change. In fact, it'll probably go up. Fees and all that stuff and regulation will probably go higher. The way you approach the situation will dictate how much profit you make in this game. That's just the way it is. You cannot get bothered about, USPS rates going up 10 cents or 20 cents and going, oh, do I change all my listings 10 or 20 cents? Really? Like, don't worry about that kind of stuff. Worry about the stuff that matters, that's in your control, right? So anyways, Thrift Shop Gamer, being top rated on eBay is obviously a good thing, but does it have any significant perks? Yes, you get like significant shipping discounts, that's for sure. There are a lot of changes to it as well. One of the main changes I saw is that they're raising the prices of some of these stores by like $2 or $3. From what the very limited amount of stuff that I looked at yesterday before I went to bed is that it's really small. So did I worry about it? No, I don't worry about it. Is it important to be TRS, top rated seller? Yeah, at this point I could tell that the way that email was basically saying things, it's very important to be TRS at this point. So I think some of the stuff goes into effect in June, if I'm not mistaken. So work real hard at your eBay store, get your defect rate super low, or defect rate, get your return rate real low, and focus on the customer buying experience. Like, do not mislead people. Okay, what do we got here? Joe Molina, please share a time that you failed that we can all learn from. Oh man, I fail so much. God, there's so many things. Let me think here. I mean, I feel like we fail all the time, like especially with the green room, like the admin staff, like we fail a lot. We're always, not always, but we're behind on things all the time and we could do better on certain things. So I'm trying to think where we really failed hard. Oh, here's a really good one. So a year and a half ago, I was just like, oh my, I was at the gym, right? I was at the gym early in the morning and these messages start popping into my green room Facebook group. And it's like, I just got double charged. I'm like, okay, cool. And it was like 2 people. So I'm like, all right, we can just go back and refund that, right? And by the time I'd gotten home, like it was like 30 people. Then it grew to like 50 people. Like, yeah, I got double charged. And so I was like, oh my God, like what a terrible experience for these members to go through. This is awful. And then it grew to like 100 or something. And then we kind of figured it out. We the most important thing to do in a situation like that, where like, you're literally like, we saw our account go to like, I don't know, like 20 grand or something like that in a matter of like 1 second. I was like, damn, that's pretty cool, 20 grand. But none of that we earned, right? It was just a double charge. And so I was like, holy crap, like huge fire, right? And so I was like, okay, the most important thing to do is to be honest. Like, this is the time where we failed. We've really effed up, right? But we didn't do it. Like, it was a payment processor kind of thing. And we had to like investigate and like figure out this whole thing, open up a case and all this kind of stuff. And by the time everything was reversed and the charges were given back, it was like a week. Sometime I think it was as soon as 3 days and as long as a week, depending on how you get double charged or paid or whatever. And the most important thing was to come out clean and be like, hey guys, there's a really big issue going on. And if you're a part of this original group of the green room that started out, our grandfathered people, you're probably going to get charged. You're probably going to, so check your statements, right? Because we've already had 50 people that got charged. And most important thing is not to hide. Don't ever cower when you are responsible for something or partially responsible for something. Own up to it and tell them how you're going to fix it, right? And then fix it. And that's what we did. And it took a couple of days to fix. And the first day, I remember just being on the computer all day long, putting out fires, and like members would be like, "This is crazy." Not all of them. Like, there's so many. We have a really good group of people in the green room that are super understanding, but there were a few that were like, "This is crazy." Like, I didn't have X money in my account, so now I got an overdraft fee, which we rebated overdraft fees and stuff too. But it was just a moment where everything came crashing down. Not everything, but a good amount of, like, I would say a fifth of our business came crashing down, and it was really annoying. But that's just an example of how, like, if I get like a really, really crazy, legit hateful comment, but legit, there's a hateful comment, but it has basis to it, like, I'll probably respond to it. That's just the way I am. Like, I don't like to just delete, click off, trash. If someone's like saying something that's hateful and it has merit, then I feel as if I have to respond, and I do it pretty quickly, right? Just to see the thought process on the other side. And when you guys have problems out there, maybe you messed up something with a buyer on eBay, or for the guy that left a $5.99 sticker on his Amazon FBA thing, most important thing is, maybe refund the item, maybe get the thing removed if you can get the feedback removed. There was nothing wrong. Clearly, there's nothing wrong with the item, right? It's just It's just maybe it's someone that just didn't want to see a $5.99 sticker on it, but you're going to have to do some sort of action and act immediately. So anyways, here's the best part of the story. All right, I'm gonna tell you right now. So people got double charged. I know I said it was a year ago, but here's the kicker of the whole thing. That double charging incident happened twice. All right, it happened 2 years ago, and we had thought we'd fixed it, and the stupid payment processor place that we had contracted with or whatever did it to us again. Right? Can you imagine getting double charged twice? Right? Well, we had some good. We had a large portion of our green roomers have that happen to them, and it was embarrassing, right? But what would have been more embarrassing would be to hide from it, right? Because each one of those people with a bad experience and not having any sort of like information or news flow going on, understanding what happened, and that's the most important thing you can do when something goes wrong, is to really try to investigate and communicate. I know that each person, just like when people go to a restaurant, if you have a positive experience at a restaurant and your waiter was awesome and everything, you're probably going to tell 7 people statistically. And so that was always running through my head when I was putting out those fires, is that when someone has a bad experience with you, they're going to tell friends about it too. And that's not good. And I can't be running a business like that. So anyways, we have Susan Arrington here in the feed saying, "Oh, I remember both," and a smiley face. See, that's the kind of caliber kind of people we have in the green room. Like, it sucks, right? It sucked, but I feel as if the way that we handled it was really good. So, and we have people that are just like, okay, it sucks, but we were on that thing. We were on it like flies on you know what, and yeah, I didn't waste any time. So, and I was the front runner of communication. So, yeah. Adam Machine says, "I love Thrift Battle. What a great idea that was. Thank you. That was one of my ideas to incorporate into the Green Room show. So that's pretty cool." Thrift Shop Gamer, "Do you use any shipping programs such as ShipWorks or ShipStation? Are they worth it? I don't use anything outside of what eBay defaults to the second that you press print shipping label right now. That's the one I use. And that can be USPS, FedEx as of right now. I don't think there's UPS. No, I don't think there's UPS. But anyway, I do it so fast that I just know where to click my mouse." Susan Arrington says, "Yes, I really appreciated that." So basically, yeah. Thanks, Susan. Good to see you, man. Or good to see you, woman. Kind of funny. What else we got here? When is the Thrift Battle season finale? This is good. We have 2 more shows lined up. Okay, so we have Rally Roots that has to go up against Zahir Malik from the UK, and the winner of that show kind of messed up the brackets a little bit, but the winner of that show is going to verse Rockstar Flipper. So, and that'll be the championship. So it might be Rally against Rockstar. It might be Zahir Malik against Rockstar. Don't know, but yeah, gonna be amazing. That's coming soon, and then we'll have Thrift Battle Season 2. All right, and then I'm gonna try to brainstorm something where. And by the way, if you're watching this right now and you're like, "What the hell is Thrift Battle?" Like that, we're gonna talk about how to make money on eBay. Look, Thrift Battle is an amazing. It's a show that we run. We're probably 6 shows into it, and you can check it out on my channel. And that show right there is a battle between thrifted items. Like person number 1 shows a thrifted item, person number 2 battles it with their thrifted item, and they talk about the profit they're going to make and what they bought it for and why they think it's so amazing. And then the audience gets to guess on who wins the round. We have 5 rounds of that plus 2 bonus questions, and that dictates a winner at the end of the thrift battle. So it's a really fun way to learn what sells on eBay. So if you're here and you're brand new, A, subscribe, B, what we're talking about right now has to do with how to make money on eBay and what sells best, because the thrift battle is nothing but the best of the best, right? And so go check that out on my channel. I think you would really enjoy it. Thrift Battle Season number 2 is going to have probably an open enrollment, which we're going to pick maybe 5 or 10% of the people that open enroll, because you can imagine we don't want 100 freaking episodes of Thrift Battle number 2, Season 2, or whatever. We want to have a nice bracketed system, potluck kind of thing. You might be chosen, you might not. We're going to get some YouTubers in there. We're going to get some Green Room members, and we're going to get some people from the public that aren't Green Room members and may not have YouTube channels. And we're going to just kind of merge this thing, right? We're going to put it in a little electronic shuffling device kind of thing on the internet, and then we're just going to make brackets, and it's all going to come down to one super championship at the end. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So be on the lookout for that when open enrollment comes in. If you've always wanted to be part of Thrift Battle, you love the concept, and you're confident that maybe you can win Thrift Battle, then you probably want to apply. Thrilla Gorilla Picker. Chris, is it true that you have to have thick skin to have a YouTube to have YouTube content due to the fact that all the people that may give you bad stuff in the comments? Okay, so I think I understand what's going on. Okay, so is it true you have to have thick skin? Look, I don't know if I have thick skin. I just know what I've achieved in life. I know that what I'm worth. And so for someone that is just an avatar and a sentence, on a YouTube comment is trying to take me down, like I have to start thinking, all I know is an avatar and a sentence. Like this person knows nothing about me, well, outside of the YouTube channel. But they don't know anything that I've done. They don't know my failures, my triumphs. They don't know, what I've done with my life. They have no idea, right? And so they're just jumping to conclusions. Most of the time, people are jumping to conclusions. In fact, almost every time that I reply to a hateful comment that had merit, okay, that had some veracity to it, then I will get a response back with some sort of not apology, but like a dialogue between two people, right? And that's interesting because it just means that someone was just politely disagreeing with you and maybe wrote it out wrong. But to have a discussion afterwards and where so we don't have to, we can agree to disagree, but at least I saw the person's point, they saw my point, and we're good with that. And that happens maybe once every 2 months, right? I don't get very many bad comments, honestly. I would love to say that I get hate all the time. I do have a screening program, or I have if you have a YouTube channel, you can put down words that you don't want to end up in your comment feed, and then it can ban the comment and pull it into another feed where you can look at it. And so of course I put all the bad words possible, and I take all these words that might appear and that just automatically flags it all. And I have that going on. Every YouTuber probably has that going on that has any sort of following. But every now and then I go behind the scenes and I'll check those flag comments, and none of them are really that bad. It's just, I don't know. It's someone talking about maybe a find that I found, not necessarily about me, but they're talking about maybe one of the items that I found. I don't get much hateful comment here on YouTube because I don't try to pretend like I'm anything that I'm not. And I don't try to scam people over in any which way possible. Like I truly believe in the avenues that I am reselling on. I truly believe in the business that I'm a part of. And I truly believe fitness is one of the most important parts that I think a reseller as an entrepreneur should be doing. Like, you guys got to get fit. It's so important. So that's just, if you look at my channel, it's always those 3 things in there. So anyways, that's right. You can't let one person ruin your groove. Now, if 100 people or 1,000 people were saying the same thing, that's a different story. But anyways, Barking McCheese fans. Hey, Chris, I like your hair shorter, but I'm not a troll. I know you're not a troll, man. Good to see you, man. I'm just going to try to grow this thing down to here. I don't know. It's fun. It's really fun when it gets wet, or I'm wakeboarding, wake surfing, or actually surfing. And when it gets long and it just, I don't know, something about when water hits, it's way more fun that way. And yes, I could do the Davidoff cool water thing where I whip the hair around and it does the whole fan thing. I can finally do that, right? That's not a goal or anything, but it is kind of funny that I can actually flip my hair from one side to another now. Never thought I could. Canuck Gal says, the longer hair looks so good on you. Thank you so much. Mr. Albert Lopez, this is definitely one of my, I have never met Albert in real life, and I want to. I think he's from San Diego. My man, you've been true and real, and I've been real since your friend suggested for you start making a YouTube channel. That's right. I don't try to, that's the worst thing to do on YouTube, because people will pick you apart when they start figuring out that you're not being yourself, or you're repping stuff that you don't have a clue what you're talking about. That's really, really hard to come out of. And you got to remember that whole rule of one person's going to tell 7 people, and those 7 people might be on other places, like other comment feeds, Reddit. But when your name gets tarnished out there, that's not fun at all. And it's the internet, and stuff's all over the place. So I try to be as true as I can to myself. I don't fake anything. There's no reason to. You start becoming fake, that's just, you're asking for it. You're asking for really bad karma to come into your life, and none of us need that. So anyway, Clarence Ninja, enjoy your hair while you can, you lucky bastard. I will. What do we got here? Clarence Ninja, don't feed the trolls. I don't. Fantasy thrift battle, I'm all for it. Yeah, there's so many interesting ways that thrift battle can go. I just call it thrift battle right now. One day I think I want to have jacket thrift battle, or maybe clothing thrift battle, or something where we can start delving into more niche type stuff. Something like that. Mark says, Hey, Chris is chock full of info. Thank you for helping me turn a $50 RC lot into 300. Cool, man. That's awesome. I think I helped. I don't know if I help people out with things behind the scenes on Facebook all the time. And some of this stuff is RC related. I would say a good 20% of it is RC related. So, Mark, send me a message on Facebook, refresh my memory on who you are. I'm not saying that in a weird way, but let me know because I want to see what I helped you on. That's interesting. I love RC stuff. It's cool. And if you're listening to this and you're like, what the hell is RC? Like, I don't know what the hell that is. Is that RC Cola? No, it's not RC Cola at all. It's radio controlled. Boats, cars, monster trucks, helicopters, planes, like that kind of stuff, radio controlled stuff. Yeah, big money in that. I've never to this day lost any money on RC, ever. All right, 4:40 here in Austin, Texas. I'm going to go out and probably ride my bike here in a second, but I want to answer some more questions that are coming in the feed. How people are talking about my hair. All right, poll real quick. Like the hair or you don't like the hair? Go ahead and comment. I'm good with it. Let me know. Michelle's World, this is a good video. Cool. Thank you. Barking with Cheese Pans. Garage sales this weekend with your brother? No, my brother's out of town this weekend. I will actually be alone, which I might go into my Facebook feed and my Facebook messages and hit up some people in the order that they've contacted me to do a ride along. So we'll see. Maybe I will. Or I might have my wife on the ride along video as well. I don't know. Or, hey, if my wife comes with me, should I film? Well, let me know. What do you think? We don't see much of my wife on my channel, but she's there. And she's coughing in the next room. Matthew Squires, the hair is lit. Cool. Thank you. Okay, good. You don't have to like the hair if you don't like it. It's all good. It's all, it's whatever. It's honestly the most fun thing. I'll give you something really. Here's a fun fact about me, right? Ever since senior year of high school, I started, okay, I know I went to this place, I think it was called Visible Changes, okay? I went to a mall, Galleria, bottom level by the ice rink. And this is gonna be a funny story. I'm gonna try to do it in like 2 minutes, okay? But I was in Visible Changes. It was right before prom. I had to get a haircut before prom and like look all snazzy and stuff like that. And I have that picture actually in my other wallet. I have 2 wallets, but anyway, so I have this picture in my wallet. That wallet, I would always carry my senior picture around because it's something I could pull out and just kind of laugh at and kind of have fun at. And it's like the coolest thing to pull out when everyone's, having fun and drinking adult beverages at the bar. That's a fun picture to pull out, trust me. So anyways, I tell the person there at Visible Changes, I'm sitting in the chair, like, well, what do you want for your haircut? And I whip out a picture or several pictures that are cut out from maybe a teen magazine or whatever. And I'm not even kidding. It's Brad Pitt from the Seven movie, right? With the spiky hair. And it's really, really, iconic kind of hairstyle. And so anyways, the person like looks at it and goes, okay, cool, I can do that for you. And so they cut it and everything, they style it, and it kind of looks like it. I don't know if it really looks like it, but anyways. But they didn't really sell me any of the product that comes with it. And to have hair like that, you have to put a decent amount of product in it and do it a certain way and have like hair dryer on it. So I didn't do any of that. I didn't have the right kind of product. I had stupid product at home, like cheap Walgreens stuff. And I did it. And then I shot this prom picture, which I have. And it looks nothing like the Brad Pitt picture. But anyways, it's kind of funny. So here's where the story goes after that. After that, there was only one time, and it was in college before I went to some mixture for a sorority, that I got my hair professionally cut. And that was the last time until recently, okay? That's the last time I actually had a professional haircut done on my hair. It's not because I didn't trust anyone. It's because I decided, you know what? Maybe I can cut my own hair. And so I bought some clippers and I started trimming my own hair, looking in the mirror, and reversing everything and like learning where everything is. And I learned how to cut my own hair, and I did it for a very, very, very long time. In fact, 2 years ago, I started calculating on average, if I was to get my hair cut every 2 weeks, I started thinking like, how much money have I really saved on a haircut? That could be an average of, let's say, 15 or 20 bucks. And I came out to some number like $9,000 or something like that. And that was pretty interesting. I was like, wow, 9 grand. Like if 9 grand was in my, truck at that moment where I was thinking that thought, what would I do with 9 grand? But clearly I had saved 9 grand over all those years of cutting my own hair, and it looked good. Like this thing, I got better and better and better at it. And it goes to kind of show you that if you work hard on like things like YouTube or whatever you want to work hard on, you got to start and just mess up. And then eventually you start learning how to do things. And I know how to cut my own hair. Well, I haven't cut my own hair in a while because now when it's long, I have to actually go to a hairdresser who knows exactly how to layer it and do certain things. but I used to cut my own hair, and yeah, I saved a lot of money, a lot of money. It was crazy how much money I saved. And after a while, I was the only person I trusted with my hair, and it's not that great of a hair when it's short, like just normal hair, but like I would only trust my haircuts, right? So, but that's just one of those things. Like, yeah, I royally mess things up, like here and there, like super mess things up. And sometimes when I would mess something up so bad, I would just be like, all right, I'm just gonna shave that side of my head, this side of my head, grow the top out, let it look let it look weird for a while. But there were some times where like the guard fell off and then I wasn't paying attention and like the cutter went right into my head. So anyways, kind of funny. Yeah, but definitely, it's just one of the things that I was doing. It's just a skill that I wanted to build. I was like, could I cut my own hair? It's just one of those things. And so yeah, it wasn't bowl and scissors either. It was just it's called Wall, WAAHL. You can get them at Walgreens for like $20. And it's a clipper you plug into a wall, and it has 8 different clipper things to it. And that's it. So this has nothing to do with eBay, right? But it has everything to do with maybe perfecting something and getting better at it and virtually making no mistakes at the very tail end of the whole project. So interesting. Yeah, and haircuts can definitely run some money. Like the average haircut I get now is somewhere between 20 and $40. So it like really sucks. But that's also like once every 6 weeks because growing the hair out, don't have to do as much. So that's cool. Has Whitney decided on a YouTube name yet? No. So if you've seen my wife in videos, she did like, what's the one? I think Witnessing Profits was a really good one. Wit Money. There's a bunch of other ones in there. So if you see her on the video this week, I'll make sure to edit that for Monday. You can help her find a YouTube name. Susan Arrington says, I just sold one of the wall clipper sets. Walk in Faith Flip says, I cut my own haircut for years. Yeah. Once you learn your hair, I mean, your head and where the dips and divots are, whatever, you learn things and you're like, all right, like I know they use that guard on this part on this part, and that's it. So anyways, thanks, Debbie. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Here we go. Is there an easy way to remember how to relist your Craigslist listing since they only last a week? The Craigslist listings only last 48 hours, technically. Okay, you have the ability to completely delete or completely alter, how do I say it, delete and then repost a Craigslist listing after 48 hours. And I know this because I probably have 20 to 30 Craigslist listings right now that are cross-listed from stuff that are that's in my eBay store, or just items that are too big to put on eBay. So is there an easy way to remember how to relist your Craigslist listing? Look, every single morning I do this thing, and it only lasts about 10 minutes, but I do this thing in my head called Take Care of the Money, right? And that means take care of things that are expiring, and I go into eBay and I see if anything is unlisted and I put it back. I make sure that the sale is running properly, and that just means take care of the money because it's a project I'm running, like the Road to 200 thing. And then take care of the money also means some of those listings are cross-listed on Craigslist, and so take care of the money means make sure that these listings are fresh, they're in the eyes of the buyers, and take care of that money stream immediately within 10 minutes. Focus on that, those 2 money streams, get them optimized if you need to. So relist things, delete things, take $5 off a price here or there, whatever you need to do. And then that's it. So I spend that every single morning. I spend 5 to 10 minutes doing just that. It's always in my head, take care of the money. Like that's just a piece of the puzzle, but it's easily controllable money. So I like that. Scott Gilmore, do I still do bikes? Of course. I sold one yesterday. It's in the green room. Go check it out. I spent 30 on it. I sold it for 140 in about a day. Yes, Little Shop of Hoarders. Hey, I love your content. Bonafide question. Would you do an interview for a blog about thrifting I'm starting? Yes, I'll do it for you. Hit me up on Facebook. Absolutely, man. Clearance Ninja question. Do you have folks meet you nearby in a safe place? Sometimes. Most of the times, no. Like we live in a cul-de-sac. You got people facing my house. You know how a cul-de-sac works, right? Anyway, I won't tell you what it looks like. But anyway, so it looks, all the houses kind of face each other. So there are eyes on everyone's house. My brother lives next door to me. My really good friend, almost best friend, lives across the street from me. Everyone's looking at each other's house. So I usually do meets at the daytime, and I just tell them, I give my address and I show up at the house. I'm like, nothing weird I don't think will happen unless you're selling something that weirdos show up to buy. Beats by Dre headphones, cell phones, motocross gear, like weird things like that, yeah, then I go to a gas station and stuff because I'm like, no way. But I've done the Craigslist flipping thing for enough times now to realize what genres of items I need to meet offsite for. And yes, Joe Molina says, homeboy is strapped. If I ever do a night meeting, trust me, I'm strapped. The person across the street is strapped. I tell them to watch me, and we both have guns. That's just the way it is. Sorry, like I don't know how. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. We definitely are strapped. Am I showing up? Am I showing up at Reseller Fam next week? I am not. I wish, I won't say I wish. I just didn't really think of planning that into my thing, and I kind of now wish that I had gone. But it's okay. Like I'll definitely make it to the next one. So I'm a huge fan of the people that are throwing it. I know it's sponsored by eBay. It's got Hustler Hacks, Hustle B. We got Chris Lynn from 10K, some other big time sellers. There's a tax person in there somewhere, and then there's Rally Roots. So that's a really good, setup right there. So I hope people out there, and I know they will, but I hope you guys out there take the chance to do things like this, right? Because the thing about Reseller Fam is it's unlike my business where in order to go to our events, but this will be the first year where we open our green room meetup to the public. Actually, we're going to open up to the public later for a much higher price. But in order to come to any of our previous green room meetups, you had to be a green room member. And that was all purposely done strategically for a certain reason. But theirs is just a one-time event, which is cool. And that's another really good proposition, for you guys out there that just want to, spend $200. I don't know what the tickets are now, but they're very reasonable. That's the most important thing. And if you're close to Kansas, which is in the center part of the country, y'all should go. Like, these are really, really good people that are going to be speaking to that event. I look up to all of them. They're amazing. And I've met about 60% of the people that are going to be speaking there. And I can vouch right now that they're 100% stand-up individuals, like amazing people that are just thinking critically and really working on their business hard. So, I'm not sitting there. If I tell you that someone to avoid someone, I probably would never tell you to avoid something because I don't like stirring up stuff like that. But I can honestly tell you that all those people there are amazing, right? And the people I haven't met, if they're anything like the people that I have met, they're going to be amazing too. So, yeah, I should have gone. I will go next year. I will go next year 100%. Because it just seems like amazing. I want to network with cool people, but more importantly, I want to support those people because at some point, a lot of them supported me, and it's a return favor. And plus, I want to learn things, right? That's what you go to these places for, is to learn things. And I'm not the best at anything. I'm pretty good at what I do, but I could always learn something. The tax person is definitely the person I was like, that one's really interesting. Like, I wanted to see that person. But anyways, they're all good. They're all good. Do I invest in crypto? No. Got close to doing it, but then the crash happened. Thank God I didn't do it. But yeah, so I didn't do it. Have I had problems with counterfeit money on Craigslist? No, not to this day. How do I stay motivated to list on eBay when you're staring at a huge death pile? Okay, so very important. When you have a huge death pile, and death pile is a term given to too much inventory, not enough time to list it. Like, how do you proceed with a death pile? Most important thing is learn that there are parts of a death pile that you will have to donate back. Okay, there are certain things in a death pile. A death pile typically is a set of items that. Let's just talk about really what a death pile comes from. It comes from too much buying and not realizing that the other part of the situation to get your money back and fully, realize the ROI and the profit and everything like that must be executed. So there's a first half, there's a second half. And the first half is the easiest part. It's the most fun part. It's buying the item and feeling like a winner. You're like, yeah. And you post pictures on like other groups and whatever. And you're like, I got this. But then the second half is, the extended research, which sometimes is like 30 seconds. It's the optimizing the keywords. It's, getting the right listing created. It's the perfect pictures. And then it's the boxing up, right? In my case, it's already pre-boxed. So when someone buys it, out it goes. And that part, is not as fun as the first part whatsoever. But you don't realize that if you don't execute the second part, all you're doing is throwing money in a well. You're throwing money in a well, and it's never going to come back up. So that's important to realize that all you're doing is compounding a really, really bad issue already. So Here's what you do when you have a death pile, okay? You have to figure out what you absolutely care about reselling in that death pile, and things that you know that you can get to, things that you know that you can list quickly, and those are just the items that you're passionate about, you know about them, cool, get those things done first. Understand that part of a death pile will have to be donated, okay? There's some of these straggler items at the very end, maybe they're missing something. These items are items that you really don't care about too much. You bought them maybe because you saw them on some YouTube video that you didn't fully understand why or whatever, but you just got into them and then you realize like, holy crap, this is way more than I thought I was going to get into. They're going to have to be some items that you donate, okay? And there's nothing wrong with donating, all right? There's everything wrong with not learning from donating. If you learn from the mistake, then there's nothing wrong, okay? But if you're not learning from a mistake, there's everything wrong. So take part of that death pile, donate it, dissect the death pile, and then when you have this part of the death pile that you know you're happy about, you know that it could, yield you some good money and you're excited about it, then divvy that up into days, right? Do 5 a day until the thing is done. But that other part of the death pile that you're just like, I'm unsure, it needs something, it's not complete, and you have no energy behind it. You're just like, ugh, like forget it. I'll just let it sit there for another 2 days. That's the item that needs to be donated. Those items need to be donated. So don't be afraid to do it, right? But be afraid by not learning something. So anyway, yeah. So what else we got here? Other questions. That's a really good question, Bark. Yeah, that's a really awesome question. Thank you. Flipping FNG, such a good question too. I was literally thinking about this yesterday as I was having a protein shake. A few of the reseller YouTubers are doing mentor programs. Is that something that you have considered? Yes, I have considered it. If I had the time to do it, it would probably be about 2 months from now. But it would be in my best interest to probably do it now before the huge garage sale season erupts again. But right now I'm working on a bag guide, right? I'll be honest with you guys, like I'm working on a bag guide. I do 2 hours a day working on it. And this morning I realized like, man, I should really do 4 hours a day working on this thing because it's about 25% done, 20% done. Let's be real. And I always want to make sure, like if I am to dedicate 4 hours or 6 hours or even 8 hours to a project at once, the energy level is going to be much higher than splitting it up 2 hours each day, working on the bag guide. Like here's where I'm going to work on the bag guide today from this time to this time. I would much rather approach it on a day where I'm so pumped to like crank out the bag guide. So yeah, it's 20% done and it's looking super awesome. Like I am really proud of it, but there's still hundreds of pictures that need to be dragged in and then like sorted through. But I have my pictures already sorted. So that's sorted, huge folder, separated into different bags. But those pictures have to find their way into an editing program and they have to be sorted from, those 2 steps. And then because the editing program can't hold, I don't want, 300 pictures in the editing program when there are 300 pictures pre-sorted. This doesn't make any sense. Like at some point I have to sort these things. So I sort out the pictures and I bring the final pictures into the editing program, which will end up on the sheet. And yeah, it's fun. It's a cool guide. I'm telling, oh my God, like there's just so much stuff. And I'm really trying hard to only put pictures and things that I absolutely know about. So I've already, out of the pictures that I put in the bag guide, I've 5% of them or maybe 3% of them came from Google Images. Like I didn't have any pictures of some of these things. So, but almost every single picture in this guide is shot from me, right? It's my stuff. So I'm not going to talk about bags that I absolutely don't know about. I'm going to talk about bags where I know you can make money on. Flipping FNG, very impressed with the Bonafide lifestyle. Yeah, I will definitely do a thing where was that question? Have I ever done a mentor program? Yes, I will absolutely do one eventually. And I thought about it and I was like, how would I do it? Keep it exclusive or go widespread with it? I'm probably going to do exclusive. I'm going to do exclusive. And there are 2 ways I thought about doing it. One was go widespread with it and we go through all my ex photographs and stuff. I get like just thousands of photographs together and I do what's called speed bolo. And speed bolo would be like me going through past photographs as fast as I can and you learning from all my previous flips where I, regretted certain things, where I had super triumphs, where I'm buying stuff from. And through thousands of photos or hundreds of photos, hopefully thousands, you would understand the way that I'm thinking about some of these things and where these things are going to be listed and stuff, even before I bring them home or before I buy them, the thought processes that I'm thinking. And Speed Bolo is definitely one of the ways that I thought about doing it, because that's fun too. It allows me to look at my pictures again, which is really cool. And then it allows me to reflect and be honest about things. The other way to do it is to make it structured, and that takes time, right? Anytime there's a structure involved, I never like to give out a really crappy product. I always like to, think out the structure for weeks on hand, and then open the gates to maybe 15 or 20 people, right? At a higher rate. I don't know, something like that. But Speed Bolo is one of those things that I really wanted to do at some point. I might do it someday. And yeah, remember, repetitive is how you can learn something pretty quick. If you can drive a car 1,000 times, you're going to be much better than only driving it 20 times, right? You get into the driver's seat 1,000 times, you're going to understand the car very well. Thriller Gorilla Picker. Hey, Chris, if you have stress, what's the #1 thing you can do to relieve it? If you have stress in the moment, the #1 thing you can do is breathing exercises. That's just proven. So that's if something, really, really, really stresses you. I don't ever have things that stress me out anymore. But if you have incredible amounts of stress, then yes, breathing exercises are so important to getting your blood pressure back to normal so you can rethink things. Here's the other part of the question. Chris, if you have stress, what's the #1 thing to relieve it? Work out, right? Work out, take a walk, but work out, get fit. Seriously, you'll never be stressed out again. Stay fit. You'll be fine. Okay, what else we got here? Do I have a roll-up printer? No, I have a normal 1020 DeskJet LaserJet 1020 that was given to me from College Picker like 4 years ago. Prints black and white toner is freaking awesome. Like 3,000 or 5,000 pages from a single toner cartridge. Yeah, sign me up. I don't want any of that other stupid stuff. I just want something that's dependable so I can focus on my business. I don't care about all the little other things that are. I personally don't really want no Dymo labels or this or that. I'm good with the way it is. It might take me a couple more seconds to affix it to a box, but I'm good. So. Anyways, I think that's pretty much it. I thought I was going to talk for like 20 minutes on this show, but I ended up probably talking for like an hour. But you guys really, give some really good questions, and I feel as if I have to at least make it worth your time. So, anyways, today we talked about, generally how to make some money on eBay, but really good places to source from. We talk about a lot of things like what sells best on eBay. We talked about my hair. We talked about my prom pictures. We talked about trying to look like Brad Pitt, which didn't happen. And we talked about all kinds of stuff, but more importantly, I hope I gave you guys the value that you were looking for in this show. Also, I got 2 freaking dopios or 2 beers. I don't know. Someone paid me, $5 here and $5 there on a super chat. That was pretty cool to see in real life. So, hey, I'm happy. I want to go outside, ride my bike, play with my dogs, maybe watch some stuff with my wife later on TV. But hey, I will see you on the next Bonafide Hustler broadcast. It was really fun hanging out with you guys, really fun answering your questions or trying to answer your questions if I could. And I'll see you on tomorrow's video. And yeah, you best bet I'm going to be thrifting, having some fun, and showing you guys my Road to 200 finds for the day. You're definitely welcome for the video. I see the first one coming through. Canuck Gal, you're welcome on the video. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Goodbye.